Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we can be reacting to
10 facts about the Turkish language.
There are around 7,000 recorded languages spoken
You see the brown book in the middle?
Mm-hmm.
That's Lithuanian.
How do you know?
Biblia. It's Lithuanian.
Oh.
in the world today. However, just 23 of those are spoken by more than half of our planet's population. According to Berlitz, out of those 7,000 languages, Turkish is the 17th most spoken language with approximately 90 million speakers.
Tamil is 18.
As some of you might know,
That's your favorite new language?
Turkey's population is 85 million. In addition, according to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Türkiye, more than 6.5 million Turkish people live outside of Türkiye. However, some resources claim that the population of the Turkish diaspora is close to 15 million. Considering the population of Türkiye, the Turkish diaspora, and people who are learning or speaking Turkish as a second language, it's plausible to say that the number of Turkish speakers is between 90 to 100 million.
That's a lot of people.
Turkish has many dialects and accents, all of which have their own unique features. However, did you know about the Turkish bird language? The Turkish bird language, known as Kuş dili in Turkish, is a language spoken in the village of Kuşköy in the eastern Black Sea Mountains. Interestingly, the name of this village, Kuşköy, literally translates to bird village in Turkish. The Turkish bird language is essentially Turkish, communicated through whistles and high-pitched sounds. Although it is not known exactly when this version of Turkish emerged, it is documented that this language has been spoken for centuries.
How does
Aslında
it?
şu an telefon olduğu için çok fazla kullanılmıyor ama biz arkadaşlarımızla eğlence amaçlı bazen kullanıyoruz. Yanımızdaki kişinin duymaması gereken bir şey söylememiz gerek. O zaman ıslık dilini bilen biri ise konuşup anlaşabiliyoruz.
The geographical conditions of the
I
eastern
wanna
Black
hear
Sea
an
region
example.
play an important role in the usage of this language. This is a very mountainous area where settlements and houses are located quite far apart from each other. Especially in the old times, people had to walk long distances to deliver a message and communicate basic things. Since high-pitched sounds travel farther in the air than normal speech, the locals eventually transitioned into communicating their native language via whistles rather than shouting.
That makes
So this
sense.
bird language allowed them to engage in complex conversations about daily life, farming, and animal herding between long distances. For example, if there was something urgent such as a fire or a wild animal approaching the herd, these messages could be conveyed in seconds to a person located far
Okay.
away.
Wow.
Today,
Wow.
unfortunately, this language is facing the threat of extinction. The invention of cell phones has largely removed the need for communicating via whistles over long distances. Fewer and fewer young people are learning this language. However, there's also a considerable number of people who are fighting to preserve this language and pass it on to younger generations.
That's cool.
Oh.
I'm sure that many people, including myself, have attempted to learn at least one Romance language. I tried Spanish for some time, and learning the genders was quite challenging. This was probably because my native language, Turkish, is gender neutral. For example, in English, the third person singular pronouns are he, she, it. In Spanish, ella. In Russian, on, ana, ano. But in Turkish, it's just o. So he, she, it is just one word in Turkish. The gender of the
But English is gender neutral too, though, as a language. Like a chair does not have a gender, you know.
person we refer to as o is generally understood from the context. Let's say we want to say he's cute, she's cute, and it is cute in Turkish. For all these third-person singular pronouns, we would use the same sentence, which is o sevimli. I remember that a few years ago there was a fuss on social media about how gender-biased
We
Google
do have
Translate
a
is when
gender
translating
He, she, it.
No, in that sense, yes, but like we don't end the word like in Lithuanian white chair and white sky. White would have a different ending because of based on the gender. Whereas in English, it's both white. It's just the one word white. We can describe any gender.
from Turkish to any language with genders. I found this example from the old interface of the translator. What people claimed was that Google Translate simply assumes the gender based on the context and sentence, which some people
She is a cook. I mean, kind of sexist though. She is a cook. He, engineer. She, nurse. He, doctor. It's a little sexist.
found sexist. As you can see in this visual, being a cook and nurse is attributed to women, whereas being a doctor and engineer is attributed to men. However, Google released an article about focusing on reducing gender bias in Google Translate, and a Turkish translation was used as an example to pinpoint the issue. Today, Google Translate provides gender-specific translations for gender-neutral languages. For example, if we write "O bir doktor" in Turkish, we see translations for both genders, which are "he's a doctor" and "she's a doctor."
Okay, that's a good correction.
Turkish has contributed loanwords to many languages, one of which is English. The most famous Turkish loanword in English is probably yogurt. Yes, the origin of the word yogurt is actually Turkish.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Although
Cool.
yogurt was first used in English in the year of 1625, this word can be traced back all the way to the Uyghur Empire in the 9th century AD. Speaking of loanwords, let's take a look at the languages with the most Turkish loanwords. Please keep in mind that these
I
are
would
approximate
guess
values, as it's pretty much
like the
impossible to have a
Balkan
certain number
countries?
for each language. Serbian has around 9,000 Turkish loanwords. Next on the list is the Armenian language with around 4,000 words of Turkish origin. Bulgarian has around 3,500.
Oh, less and
Persian,
less.
Albanian, Greek, and Romanian have around 3,000. Russian around 2,500, and Arabic and Hungarian around 2,000. When it comes to the loanwords of foreign origins in the Turkish language, Arabic leads the list with close to 6,500 words. The second is French with around 5,000 words, then
Wow, a
Persian
lot.
with around 1,300, and finally English with around 500.
I'm shocked with France.
Random a little
Turkish belongs to the Turkic languages family. Turkic languages are spoken in a
bit. Probably like back in the day they had to trade with the French, so that's how the words got acquired.
large area by more than 200 million people. As you might guess, Turkish is by far the most widely spoken of all Turkic languages. We can say that almost 1 in every 2 Turkic speakers speaks Turkish. It is a big misconception among some people that Turkish is mutually intelligible with Arabic and Persian. As a Turk, when I hear Arabic or Persian spoken, other than recognizing a few words, I understand nothing of the context. Now let's take a look at some of the main differences between Turkish, Arabic, and Persian. Turkish belongs to the Turkic language family, Arabic to the Semitic language family, and Persian to the Indo-European language family. Turkish is written in the Latin script. Arabic
What
is
is your
written in the
language
Arabic
called?
script.
Baltic language?
No, there was a specific word.
I think it's Indo-European as well.
Oh.
And Persian is written in the Persian script, which is a modified version of the Arabic script with 4 additional letters.
Because it is Indo because it comes from Sanskrit from India.
In addition, the region where Turkish originated is quite far away from Persian and Arabic. Arabic originated in the Arabian Peninsula, Persian originated in the modern-day lands of Iran, and Turkish originated in the vast steppes of Central Asia.
So how did it travel all the way to Turkey?
The Turkish that is spoken in Türkiye has its roots all the way here in Central Asia.
That's so random. Huh. We've done this video.
Speaking Turkish opens doors to many other languages. As I mentioned a few moments ago, Turkish belongs to the Turkic languages family, which has around 35 languages. So speaking Turkish makes it easier to learn and understand other languages like Azerbaijani, Uzbek, Kyrgyz, Kazakh, Uyghur, Turkmen, Gagos Turkish, Crimean Tatar, and such. When it comes to mutual intelligibility, as a Turkish speaker, I can confirm that not all Turkic languages are very easy to understand. Azerbaijani, Gagos Turkish, and Crimean Tatar are the easiest Turkic languages for me to understand. Although some languages like Kazakh, Kyrgyz, and Turkmen also have the same grammar and roots as Turkish, they are a bit hard for me to fully understand. But it would be possible for me to carry out a very basic conversation with a native speaker of one of those languages, where I would speak Turkish and the other side would speak their language, and we would be able to communicate basic phrases. When it comes to the other Turkic languages that are spoken by smaller groups in Russia, China, and such, they are very hard to understand, at least based on my personal experience. Although I can understand the theme of the conversation and pick out words to map out the context, I think I would need a translator to understand these remotely spoken Turkic languages.
That's pretty cool, kind of useful language to know. If you speak Turkish, you can basically understand a lot of these languages.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
So Turkish has different levels of mutual intelligibility with other Turkic languages, but it opens the doors of a language family with more than 200 million speakers.
Because like if you speak Spanish, you can kind of understand French, Italian a little bit, but not to like have a full-on conversation. You can pick up a word here and there, but to have like a full conversation in 3 other languages, basically, that's pretty cool.
The Turkish language underwent significant changes in the last 100 years. The Ottoman Turkish that was spoken for centuries until 1928 was heavily influenced by Arabic and Persian. Also back then, the Ottoman Turkish was written in the Arabic script. For example, this is how Ottoman Turkish looked in old documents. The Ottoman Empire officially ceased to exist in 1922, and the Republic of Türkiye was founded in 1923. In the following years, a series of social, cultural, religious, legal, and economic reforms were implemented by Turkiye's founding father Mustafa Kemal Ataturk to create a secular and modern state. One of the most groundbreaking and vital of these reforms was the Turkish language reform. Through this reform, Ataturk stripped the Turkish language of foreign influences to a large extent and brought back its old Turkic roots. As the first step, Turkish transitioned from using the Arabic script to the Latin script. Later on, a massive number of Arabic and Persian words used in Turkish were replaced with Turkish equivalents. So Turkish stopped looking like this and suddenly started to look like this. As a result of this reform, Turkish took the form that is spoken and written today. Turkish is widely spoken outside of Türkiye. In addition to the Turkish diaspora, there are many countries and regions where Turks have been living for a long time and they speak Turkish or dialects that are very close to Turkish. Let's start with our neighbor Greece. Turkish is spoken in northeastern Greece by the Turkish minority, whose number is said to be between 100,000 to 150,000. Bulgaria also has a large Turkish minority and Turkish speakers.
I didn't know
According to the
that.
2011 population
Did
census
you?
in Bulgaria,
Well, yeah, when we did the Balkan video, it said like what happened to Turks in the Balkans. So kind of I assume, you know, there's some Turkish people left there still.
9.1% of the country's population spoke Turkish, which
Also, I would guess Germany. There's a lot of Turks in Germany.
makes up a little more than 600,000 people. In Romania, more than 27,000 people speak Turkish in the southeasternmost part of the country. In North Macedonia, Turkish is recognized as one of the 5 regional languages. Although this data is a bit old, according to the 2002 population census, 3.9% of the population claimed to speak Turkish in North Macedonia, which is 71,757 people. In Kosovo as well, Turkish is recognized as a regional language. Around 25,000 people in Kosovo speak Turkish. Recently, in 2023, Iraqi Turkmen, which is a dialect of Turkish, has been recognized as one of the official languages of the Iraqi city of Kirkuk. And when it comes to the Turkish diaspora, which comprises of citizens of Türkiye who have moved abroad in the past few decades, Germany, the Netherlands, Belgium, Switzerland, France, Austria, the UK, the US, Canada, and Australia are among the top countries with the highest number of Turks and Turkish-speaking people. Turkish is a historic language, the roots of which dates back to a very old period. Turkish, along with all of the Turkic languages, derive from Old Turkic, which is the oldest form of the Turkic languages. Presumably, Old Turkic originated in the vast Central Asian steppes, which comprise modern-day Mongolia and the Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region of China. The earliest known written inscriptions in Old Turkic are the 8th century Orkhon inscriptions. These inscriptions consist of 2 monumental
me, it's
stones
just-
writing
How did it travel from all the way there from like Mongolia, China to current Turkey? That's the craziest part.
in the Old Turkic
Because like when we saw like Arabic, Persian, they originated and they're still there, like the countries there, but this traveled completely.
language. Written in the Old Turkic script, which looks like this, these inscriptions are of vital importance in Turkish history, as they talk about things such as the legendary origins of the Turks, the golden age of the Turks, the subjugation and the liberation of the Turkic tribes, and such. The Orkhon inscriptions were discovered in 1889 in the Orkhon Valley in central Mongolia. The Old Turkic alphabet on these monumental stones was deciphered in 1893 by the Danish linguist Wilhelm Thomsen.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, back in the day.
Since Turkish is an agglutinative language, by adding suffixes to the root word, you can create long sentences using just one single word. So Turkish can have long words that might seem very daunting for non-Turkish speakers or those learning Turkish. The longest word in Turkish is yeah, okay, I give up. This hard to pronounce word means as though you are one of those whom we may not be able to.
I was wondering, okay, when did he officially set it to stop, or was he just repeating it again and again?
Yeah, because there was a pause.
Yeah.
To easily make into a maker of unsuccessful ones. Yeah, I know, but
As though you are from those who may not be able to easily make it. Wow.
I don't even know what that means.
That's a whole
crazy.
sentence.
Luckily, this is not a word that is commonly used at all in daily life, so if you're learning Turkish, you're safe.
Cool. It was an interesting video.
Mm.
A lot of interesting facts about the language, yeah.
Guys, of course, let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord. And as always, share as much kindness as possible.